But let me just see, does anybody know, you're in the Ella J. Baker house. So does anybody know who Ella Josephine Baker was? Anybody know who Martin Luther King was? Ella Baker is as important to the history of the civil rights movement as Martin Luther King. So that's why we named the building in honor of her and what she stood for.
We're talking about what's the stereotype of police officers, right? What's the stereotype of youth? You know, how does that view when you're being grilled or those type of things? And I don't know, if you don't see them in your police officer, you'll be thinking that's your neighbor, and that's what we want this, hopefully at the end of this day, to begin to even think and to feel that.
The youth voice is so important because we want you to tell your friends about this experience today. We want, like I said, I know it's videotaped, we want people to see that this conversation has to continue. And it's going to break down the biases and the stereotypes. Like I said, some of our officers have them too, just like some of the youth. But when you have the conversation, it breaks it down a little bit more and a little bit more. When they see the more officers come and go, wait a minute, it's not the same 4, 5, 8, 10. Now there's so many because it's a culture now. It's a culture. It was different when I came on. You know?
First, I just want to thank the people that put this together. I really want to thank them, and you can really appreciate this because this is what's really needed, the communication. The communication is key. We feel that this is when we're at our best, when we can just sit down and have an open dialogue and talk, because the communication is what's going to bring us closer together.
They put me in a room with 2 guys. It was the detective, and then there was some other guy there. And he read me my random rights, but I was just confused because I felt like I needed an adult there, for consent for what I was saying, and he didn't give me that. Like, he didn't say, you could have brought your mom here, none of that. Like, basically, he just got straight to the point, asking me mad questions. And I kind of felt uncomfortable. I felt powerless, like I couldn't really, do nothing. But I still, feel powerless to this day when it comes to police, because it's like, they don't let you know your rights. They don't let you know, you're not being detained, or you're not, there's nothing wrong, but, you could come down and talk to us, or have somebody here with you. Not saying, you guys, y'all are good cops, I understand that, I respect y'all for that, but there's still, work that needs to be done, because I can't say I trust the police out here.
But I felt like, I kind of felt targeted. I felt some type of way because it's like, I don't know, I kind of felt weak, and I kind of felt, just like what she was saying, powerless. I felt kind of powerless because it's like, once I was so confused, and it's like, if I'm asking a question, I need a direct answer. Like, if you can't tell me what I'm doing, if you can't tell me what's going on, then why are you stopping me?
But the first real time where I feel like I really built a relationship with an officer was he was one of the only officers where I feel like he was very interested in the conversation, and we're coming from 2 sides of the community. I'm coming from the hood, you're coming from somewhere else, and he really was interested in why we wanted to build relationships, or why we did this, or the way we thought. And he went further than just the average police conversation. Oh yeah, this and that. He was really interested in what I felt.
I was thinking about respect between the youth and police, right, and how there's a lack of that. And I'm not gonna sit here and say I was taught, but I'm working on trying to respect first respect yourself and everything around you. I see a lot of youth, and it kind of gets me mad because it's a trend to hate police. Right. That's popular, and that's corny, in my eyes. So it's and also police officers are human too. They have families. They eat food like everybody else. They go home. They watch shows and stuff like everybody else. They do normal things. So it's when you think you can disrespect a police officer, you really can't. You can't win. Once you're in that, you can't, I tell my brother, he's a big dude for his age. You're already a threat, really. Not saying you're a threat, actual threat, but just your size, you're black, and you're a male, you're already like kind of like a threat. So it's like I try to teach him, just be respectful, and and if an officer is, harassing you or like, doing not performing his job correctly, you just sit there. Yes, sir. No, sir. Am I being detained? This.
I can attest to how people get treated differently when they have suits on and they have hoodies on, because I wear hoodies. You know what I'm saying? So, respect yourself, respect others around you, like this young man said, and if somebody disrespects you and it's an officer, you deal with him in a respectable adult if you're a youth at the district, with their boss. You understand what I'm saying?
Of course.
Because for us, we see youth doing things that they shouldn't be doing. We see on the news that youth are shooting and robbing and stealing, but when I go talk to the youth, I don't judge them. You know what I'm saying? So we teach the youth, do not judge us. Are there cops that are jerks? Absolutely. Are there youth that are jerks? Absolutely. If we want that to change, we as officers need to tell an officer if they're doing something they don't have no business doing, like we have, knock it off. You know what I'm saying? Just like you guys as youth. You see somebody doing something, especially that's somebody that respects you, that looks up to you, knock it off. There's a young lady, and this is passionate to me, so this is my story. This young lady in the 7th grade, elementary school, was an angry individual. She was born drug addicted. She didn't have a relationship with her mom. She didn't have a relationship with her dad because he was in and out of jail. And she was wreaking havoc in school. And I took her under my wings. She's getting ready to graduate from college. She just spoke at the function. They had over 1,000 people. Convention Center on Wednesday, on Bottom Line, helped her get through college. And this girl is my story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so the impact is, it's not for the media. It's not for white officers, black officers, Asian officers. It's for us. Like she said, and like my partner said, we live here. We have family here.
Right.
This is our community.
Right.
The challenges that they face growing up in the city. They face a lot of challenges, and really trying to think the solution that you come up with doesn't fit case to case. It's individual, and it doesn't always work right away. So it's a challenge also, because we used to say, do this and this happens. That's the easy part, like stop, give the ticket. But now when we're working in the community with these kids with complex issues, it doesn't always work. So it's a very complicated thing that want to go back is something that's going to be a struggle. It's going to take time, take a lot of investment. It's a very complex thing being a police officer, and just like you thinking these solutions just fit, one size fits
So
all.
I tell kids, before you ask one of your friends to go to a house or to go fight somebody, understand, they might not make it home. You don't know whose house you're going to. You know, you could get killed. And this is what's happening out here, right? So we're in it, you know, and we'll go against a parent. We'll go against whoever we have to try and save that child. That's what people don't understand. We're not just locking these kids up. We're listening to these kids. We understand. I had to talk to a girl for 45 minutes because she didn't want to go home. She's trying to do her homework and her mother's getting high. Guess what? I'm going to bring you home because that's what I have to do. If I walk in that house and your mother's getting high, do you have someplace else you can go? My grandmother's, but my mother doesn't want me to. I walk in that house, your mother's disrespecting you, and she's getting high, I'm going to get you out of that house tonight, and I'm going to take you to your grandmother's house. And that's what I did. And it took me 45 minutes just to have a conversation with that girl, because obviously she's a kid. It's a fight sometimes within the family. So sometimes we have to come in, we have to be the bad person, we have to remove that child, but that was the best thing for that child. See that child 5 years later, she's doing good on her way to college, guess what? That's a good story. That's a good thing. I'll fight her mother to save her.
Like, I'm noticing there's not a lot of, there's no white officers in the building, and that's kind of, I mean, if we're talking about, police community relationships, it has to be white officers in the room, especially, it's common sense, especially what's been going on around the nation.
All take it extremely personal because we are from the city. We are from Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan. This is our neighborhood. As much as it is yours, it's our neighborhood too. So we take extreme pride to be here. Yes, we're going to show up. Why? Because we're from. We had some of those awkward interactions with officers and kids. We still have family. They make fun of me all the time, but I have 1,000,001 cousins that live here. I've had awkward encounters with my own cousins. So the way I see it is, if I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna do this job, I have to start with my family and start with the place that I was born and raised in.
So what's interesting, and I get the perspective, for those of us that dealt with this when this was New Jack City, across with New Jack City and the Wire, then it's a blessing. So I'm thankful for the presence of the black officers, because as members of the community, they can have the conversation with the black community the white officer's not gonna have. Because the white dude ain't related to this ain't his hood, it ain't his thing, he ain't coming back to this neighborhood. And so I take that, but I just want to say I'm thankful, because it is amazing progress for this city that you could get a group of black officers to be in the hood. There's no other city in the United States. Now, they're not perfect, they ain't angels, it's not heaven. But keeping it real, there's no other city that is competitive. In fact, Boston has the lowest number of complaints in comparison to any other city of a comparable size. Why? In terms of homicide rates, they've got some of the lowest homicide rates in the country. When you look,
Because I plan on being the mayor of Boston one day, so I pay attention to almost everything. They document all the crimes that happen in Boston on Universal Hub. Every single day is either somebody getting shot at, or it's shots ringing out somewhere. And
compared to what?
Period. It's unacceptable. It doesn't matter. We shouldn't compare them to other cities, because Boston Police Department does a lot of dirt too. A lot of dirt. It's facts. Like the ACLU shares a lot of facts. Like the amount of complaints people make on Boston police officers a year. You don't have to compare them. Just the simple fact that people are making complaints against people that are getting paid to protect and serve.
I understand both sides, but then again, I also feel like the youth, we don't reach out to our elders. I feel like we don't go to them enough to figure out what's happened in the past and what we could do to have a better future for kids younger than us that don't even know what's going on at this point, don't know what they're even getting themselves into, because they're so young and so not fully developed yet.
That was true. 6 nights a week, the commissioner himself, along with a lot of other command staff, and Tina Thomas, walking in different neighborhoods. So there your commissioner is, right? And there's an opportunity to have a dialogue and talk with him right there in Mattapan, Bowdoin and Geneva, Lenox, right? All across the city. So he's out there himself, right, along with other officers. Like I said, Tina Thomas gone on some of these walks as well. We're making sure that we coordinate with the flashlight walks. There's another initiative that puts the commissioner and puts officers out in the community walking around talking. So that's one thing. The other thing is the police, as of Friday, had taken something like 206 guns off the street. 206 guns off the street, right? That's the ones they got. That means there's a whole lot more out there. All of those guns came off the street. There's only been one violent incident this year, and the police officer was shot, and the person that shot the police officer was not. That's a fact. Last year, homicides are down. We're like at a 10-year low in terms of homicide. That's a fact. The shootings are up. And part of the reason the shootings are up is because of multiple people getting hit.
Since June 2015 till today, a person in Boston, Roxbury, Dorchester, whatever the case may be, a person's been shot at, or murdered.
We hear you, we're listening to you, and we understand, because we are taking the initiatives and doing the right steps to get to where we want to be. Are we perfect? No, by far we're not. We're not perfect because one complaint, one homicide is one complaint and one homicide too many. Even though we're at an all-time low right now, we're taking the necessary steps to get there. So there's definitely room for improvement. But let's not take away from where we're at.
Yeah, I'm never doing that. I'm just saying, we should get Commissioner Evans in the room and simply...
It's done.
No, and simply state that, what can we do together as a young black man that live in Boston? How can we strategize to change the narrative around police, community relationships?
We ain't gonna set the meeting up here. Commissioner's gonna come to the hood. We're gonna have a meeting right here with the